Hello. So I just realized I have not posted anything to this YouTube channel in ages and ages, and people are still subscribed to it. I don't know why. Thank you. This went from a channel about sharing music to a channel about sharing struggles with my illnesses. Um, I've also done a bit of that on TikTok. I haven't really done much sharing of music stuff on TikTok, but I just want to make a quick update to say that things have changed a lot. I've come a long way um, in terms of my health is more stable these days. I know more about what's going on with my body and all of the secondary complications that come with having hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and a lot has happened over the course of my adulthood, and I am getting better at advocating for myself in all situations. I'm getting better at saying the word disabled. I am physically disabled. It's a dynamic disability, so that makes it one of those hard to see things, I guess, sometimes. I also have MS, but I don't take any treatment for that. It didn't do well with my body. I just tried one type of DMD, generic Copaxone. I didn't like it. Then, right around when the pandemic started, I decided to take things into my hands more after being through so much with medical professionals and having so much medical PTSD incurred over time. I decided to seek supplementary health care or a functional medicine doctor or a Lyme literate naturopathic doctor, integrative doctor, all of those things. One person, but called all of those things. So this point is when I found out I have most likely a chronic Bartonella infection for a really long time, which has contributed to a lot of my symptoms. And I have had mold illness or chronic inflammatory response syndrome, which has contributed to a lot of my symptoms. So through figuring out more about that, I have learned to manage more of my symptoms. I do use mobility aids, walking aids, a wheelchair, a walker, a cane, depending on the task or what I'm doing. But, in my house and in certain spaces, I walk around without aids if I'm comfortable enough, if I know I'm not going to fall or whatever. But it's been a struggle, of course, accessing those things too, and accessing like adequate care medically, especially since the pandemic. I've had several doctors quit because I had a problem with water damage in my last apartment. I had to leave, so I've left, and I couldn't stay in my current city. I was basically priced out of that location, so I moved to a different city, which actually has less resources, and I thought where I was living was a struggle, but this is much more of a struggle in terms of finding adequate medical resources. But I'm traveling still to my pre-existing location, and I lost my doctor of 15, 17 years or something since all of this moving and stuff, so I found a nurse practitioner that I have to travel to. It's 30 minutes though, which is not like 5 hours like some of my the specialists I have left. So it's like, it's the same shit, but I also feel a lot more stable in terms of my health and comfortable in terms of what I'm dealing with. But of course, like, that comes along with a lot. Like here I am sitting in a room full of still stuff from my last place that I actually, a lot of it I meant to get rid of because of this mycotoxin illness thing, and how a lot of my stuff is hanging on to these mycotoxins, but I'm disabled and I don't have the means to replace things and whatnot, and I had everything stored out in a carport, but then it collapsed. Anyways, so it's like a battle between like figuring out what is the right thing to do and not letting myself get too carried away with like catastrophic thinking about like, oh my god, these things I've hung on to are going to kill me, because they're not. I have to work on healing my immune system as much as I can, which I am. I have to get out of the house as much as I can, which is a struggle when you struggle with walking. I really miss performing and playing music, but I'm trying to find other outlets to fulfill that interest. So I've joined a theater group. I'm working backstage. I'm really enjoying it. I've been volunteering again. It's been years since I've done that. So I volunteered at a music festival last summer. I plan to do that again. This way, you know, I can get into the festival at a low cost, or I can watch the theater production for free, you know. So as much as I miss performing, I'm starting to embrace being more of a behind the scenes kind of a person. I'm a lot happier than I've been in years, but it's, you know, an ongoing struggle. But I'm not having debilitating symptoms like I once was. I'm struggling with walking. I still have POTS flares, but it's a lot more under control, the POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia. My MS has not relapsed in a long time. I had a mini pseudo relapse, they called it, and I have foot drop on one side, but I think it's from a knee injury 20 years ago, and I'm trying to convince doctors that it's not MS. So that's, and I can't get an MRI, even though I have 2 conditions that warrant monitoring with MRI. Medical resources are scarce. I'm in Ontario. We're supposed to have universal health care. Income is a struggle as well, right? Because inflation, cost of living has gone up, groceries have gone up. So adjusting to all of that, I pretty much quit smoking weed. Still a little bit sometimes. I have a prescription for it, but I use topical or CBD if I'm going to smoke something. Sometimes I use vapes, but I'm really limiting that now because I don't like the cognitive effects. At a certain point in time, maybe about a year ago, I realized that it was affecting me cognitively in a way that I didn't really like. It was impeding my productivity, which is something I already have a hard time with. I have brain fog as it is, so I don't need to be stoned, you know what I mean? But my pain is not well managed. I'm doing my best, but it's just a struggle still with doctors, even with all these diagnoses, like medical professionals, like getting them on your side, getting them to believe you, getting them to understand, like, anything about you, and like trying to work through all of this with a new nurse practitioner. I mean, I just started out, but I already was like having a lot of nightmares just about medical trauma, having seen this guy one time. He was fine, he just doesn't know me. So, and I have to travel to get there, and anyways, it's a lot. But again, life is good. I'm happy in my relationship. I'm in a newish relationship, but it's with an old friend. So that's been an experience, really good, positive experience, because having people in your life who love you is so important. And I've been having some family struggles, like with my family of origin, I should say. Being a disabled adult, I've relied on them I should say I relied on one of them a lot over the years, but through their own struggles of mental health and physical health, it hasn't been easy all of the time. So I'm a little bit more distanced from my family than I've ever been, and I actually I'm not allowed to visit my parents' home. So that's been weird, and that's been since October. I'm just not allowed to go there, and part of what sucks about that is I moved closer because I thought that would make things easier. My parents are aging. Not that much yet, but I worry about them, but I really only have a relationship with one of them, and it's strained. So, that's my update. Maybe that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say for right now, but thanks for, I don't know, just like listening if you're listening. If nobody ever watches this, that's also okay. But I just thought it's been a long time since I've updated anything on here, so that's what this is. You can find me on TikTok, you can find me on Instagram. If you have EDS, you can add me on Facebook, because I really love my community. Okay. Take care. Bye.